Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of LetsChat GP, the podcast where we share everything about life in Grande Prairie, Alberta. If you guys are seeing my face for the first time, my name is Demar, your host, and this podcast is brought to you with the kind support of TELUS STORYHIVE. If you guys don't know where Grande Prairie is a city located in northwestern Alberta with a population of roughly 70,000 people. On this podcast, we try to share everything about life in Grande Prairie from a real-life perspective. So if you're thinking of moving to Grande Prairie, or if you have recently moved to Grande Prairie, your expectations can match your reality. Now, Grande Prairie is one of those communities that has seen an influx of diversity over recent years, one of the most preferred destinations for immigrants. Today, we'll be talking to a gentleman who has moved to Grande Prairie a couple of years ago, also an immigrant, also from Jamaica, that's where I'm from, and we're going to get some feedback about his experiences. Today, we're joined by Shadane Brown. Shadane, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
So, Shadane, the first question I would like to ask you is, who is Shadane? Give me a little bit of a background about yourself, growing up, what was that like, where you're from?
All right, so growing up, so originally I'm from Jamaica, and growing up in Jamaica was good. I had lots of fun. Like even to this day, I keep saying kids who are born in this day and time, they don't know the fun you had growing up back then, especially in Jamaica. So I grew up in we call it a family yard, where you have different houses and family live right around you, cousins, aunties, uncles, everybody. So yeah, it was a good time. Me and my family, I should say, moved here 3 years ago. Yeah, January will be 3 years coming.
So, let's back up a little bit.
Okay,
So, you grew up, you had like family around you. You mentioned you guys had cousins, aunts. It sounds like a very nice way to grow up. What made you guys wanted to leave Jamaica in the first place, to come to Canada? And then a second part to that question is, after decided to move to Canada, what made you choose Grande Prairie?
Okay. All right. So, what made me decide to come to Canada is, Jamaica is nice and all the sand, the beach, and the trees and all of that. It's good, but there's not a lot of room for growth when it comes on to careers and stuff like that. So I moved there for opportunities, more likely for my daughter at the time, so she can have a better life. For us, it's just a bonus, pretty much. So, coming here, it doesn't stop. It doesn't go to here and stop. You can go past the roof once you choose to do so, because the room and opportunities for growth is here. It's just for you to work towards it.
So, made you choose Grande Prairie?
And say, but then, before even thinking about Grande Prairie, I was thinking to go to Lethbridge because I came here as an international student. And then my application for Lethbridge, it didn't work out. And then I reached out to this guy here. And he said, hey, you should come to Grande Prairie. Grande Prairie is a pretty nice place. And nights after nights, we stayed up on the phone. He was showing me Grande Prairie and what it's like at nights and stuff like that. And I tried for the application for the college here. I got through. And then after coming here, I was like, yo, I'm not staying here.
Common story that we all have.
This is not for me. And then by being here, Grande Prairie just grows. It grows on you.
It grows on you.
The people, the everyday move around. There's no traffic versus when you go to other cities and stuff like that. And what I love is it's a small town. You get to meet. Let me see. If you meet somebody new today, chances are somebody in your circle knows them, and it just goes from there, and everybody knows everybody, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, reality versus expectation. What was your expectation moving to Grand Prairie? Before you actually got here, see what it was like, what were you expecting?
All right. Expectation. I came here thinking, yes, it's going to be cold, but not this cold. And I was not expecting that in the wintertime, almost everything that I touch, I would get shocked.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely something that no one can prepare you for. That staticness is insane.
And to be honest, I was expecting to see more high-rising buildings and stuff like that. Hey, I'm moving from Jamaica, I'm going to foreign. Big city, big country. But after being here, as I said, none of that matters. You grow to love the place and everything about it, pretty much, or almost everything about it.
So, as an immigrant, coming from a fellow immigrant myself, you've landed in Grande Prairie. You said 3 years ago, coming up on 3 years now, with your family, your wife, your daughter. What was the transition like coming into the city? What was that transition phase like?
It was rough at first. It was rough at first because
What was so rough about it? Like, what
All right,
made it challenging?
challenging part is you're an outsider moving into Canada. Finding that first job, it was hard because most persons here, they don't want to hire you unless you have that Canadian experience or that Canadian education background. So it was challenging to find that first job. But once you find that job and they see that, hey, you can do what you applied for, or even better than what they are expecting, in no time you will climb the ladder.
Climb the ladder.
Up. So, and even, well, for my little girl, I would say it was, for her in school, it was rough at first because at her school, at that time, there wasn't a lot of persons of her.
Again, black people, we can say.
Her race. So, one and two of the kids picked on her. Talking about her here it looks nappy, stuff like that.
That must have been challenging. How did you guys deal with that?
We spoke to the teacher at the time. I love that teacher. Not the other one so much, but yeah. We spoke to the teacher at the time, and she helped a lot where that is concerned, help her to feel comfortable and stuff like that. Even to this day, she's in grade 3, and every now and then she goes by that teacher's class just to say hi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to school for reports or anything, we go say hi to her and stuff like that because we appreciate what she did for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now, it's total opposite. She's friends with everybody. She has a best friend.
Yeah.
There no day of the week that comes. Once you're at school, she wants to go because she wants to go and see your best friend.
Best friend.
They want to play. They want to plan play dates and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, coming off the plane, right? Culturally, what was your biggest shock? What was your biggest culture shock?
Biggest culture shock coming off the
Being from Jamaica. So you're fresh from Jamaica, landing in Grande Prairie. What's that one thing culturally that you'd say is the biggest shock that you saw?
There's quite a few, but I'd say coming here, I was expecting to see more white people than Indians and stuff like that. When I came, I saw a lot of Indians.
So you saw a lot more diversity than what you expected, yeah.
Yeah. And what else? Well, we talked about the...
What about the food? Was the food... What was the food? What you expected, or was it different?
The food at the time, the food was not what I expected. To this day, the food is still not what I expected because we find seasonings and stuff like that over here that we would have in our own country, but it's still just not the same. So yeah, I think apart from that, the food would be the biggest shock.
Okay. So as an immigrant, right, it's it's very clear to say that immigrants see things from different perspective, right? So the city of Grande Prairie, when I got here, wasn't as diverse as it is now. So it's a lot more diverse. It's a lot more, I'd say, culturally spread, which means there's a lot more different cultures being showcased in Grande Prairie. But as an immigrant, what would you say throughout your time here in Grande Prairie, you would say you'd see this one thing as your biggest challenge as an immigrant in Grande Prairie?
Biggest challenge. It's a very tricky one, but my biggest challenge as an immigrant in Grande Prairie, I'd say
It's a tough question.
tough question, but I'd say my PR status would be my immigration status would be one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Immigration status, because yes, I'm on a PGWP, but they've been making a lot of changes in immigration. So it's like you're here, but if you don't have a PR status, or I say a PR status, you don't know where you stand later on down the road.
So 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing, yeah.
So that is kind of weighing on you, regardless of whatever good thing that's going on for you. Because at the end of the day, you don't know, am I going to be here? Or am I going to be over here? So I say...
Well, for any immigrant, for any temporary resident especially, that's a big concern for them.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to something that you said before. You said when you just got to Grande Prairie, the plan was to leave after you have finished school. And that's a common thing for a lot of persons who come to Grande Prairie. They have plans to come here for a year, 2 years, end up staying here for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime. It's different for everyone. But for you and your family, what keeps you here?
All right, so what keeps us here is the community. Grande Prairie is a very close-knit community. Like, I haven't been in the situation to experience some of the bad things that really happened, but we're in a group. But you're a part of the group, the Grande Prairie, Alberta group, and quite a few stuff happening there. Persons who are going through hard times, or even just had their car battery died, or needs help shoveling their driveway, and persons are volunteering just to come and help them, get them out of a jam they're in, stuff like that. So I love the closeness of the community. And another thing is the job. If you get a job, like I said, you move up the chain faster versus if you go to the bigger cities. It's like you're fighting for that position or for that spot.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot more competition there, stuff like that. And as I said, my daughter has a best friend here. So that's one more reason to stick around a little bit and job, stuff like that.
So would you encourage anyone watching this right now to move to Grande Prairie?
100%. 100%. Like, I doubt there is another community, I say, in Canada like Grande Prairie. Yeah, Grande Prairie is the community to get you out there, get you started with stuff, give you a foundation of stuff. Yeah. So once you come here, you're probably like gonna be like me. Oh, I'm not staying here. It's too country or whatever. But after being here for a while, it grows on you, and you just start to plant your roots here. Maybe later on in the future, you don't know what can happen. You decide to venture out, but at the end of the day, Grande Prairie's foundation.
A good place to start.
Yeah.
So you mentioned country music, and it leads perfectly into the other question that I want to ask. So what's something that you have picked up after moving to Grande Prairie? Like something like something that you're doing now as a result of being in Grande Prairie?
Something I'm doing now.
Yeah, like two-stepping, country music, I don't know. Like whatever it is. Or something that you never thought you'd be doing.
Well,
apart from shoveling driveways. Because, there's a lot of driveway shoveling going on right now.
Quite a few. Well, since I've moved here, I used to listen to country music back in my home country in Jamaica, but not as much as being here. So yeah, we can add that to the list. What else? I'm trying to think. Can't really think of not much.
That's okay. But would you say that you are fully now entwined into the Grande Prairie culture?
I would say that 100%.
Okay, so you're no longer a fried chicken and chips kind of guy, but you're more like a steak and potato kind of guy now.
Oh, trust me. It's not as bad as it sounds. Right? So when you add the right seasoning and stuff, you try their stuff. It's good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
So one of the things that a lot of immigrants always don't understand is how important it is to move to a community that gives you a foundation. Foundation in terms of cost of living, job opportunity, and in many cases, immigration status, right? So Grande Prairie is one of those communities that tick all those boxes of what you're saying. Right?
So far, yeah. So far, yeah. Currently working, we are working on our PR application. So, yeah, finding that right job can definitely help to boost your points and your application to get you to permanent residency.
A question that I probably should have asked earlier in our conversation, you mentioned that you come from a fairly large family, and, most of them are very close-knit. So when they heard you were moving to Grande Prairie, what was their feedback? Like, what was their thought process?
They were shocked. Like, first thing, so when I come back, when are you coming back? So long. Yeah, stuff like that. But after explaining to them and stuff like that, they understand. They themselves would like to make the move, just that they can't at this moment.
At this moment.
Yeah.
So was anyone like, hey, why are you going so far? Or, hey, it's bush, or, hey, anything like that?
My parents.
Yeah?
Yeah, because she wants to see her grandkids, so it's far. Distance, it is far. But at the end of the day, we have to do what we have to do. We have to think about our future and the end goal. So this small move is to make things better for
the longer term,
or everybody.
And your mom had the opportunity of visiting you quite recently. What was her feedback towards Grande Prairie?
She likes Grande Prairie, but because last year we didn't have a winter, she thought
Grande Prairie did not have a winter.
She thought that was
a walk
in the park, pretty much. So she's like, "Oh yeah, I can manage this.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's just put on a jacket and go outside." Yeah. So she's coming back up this year. So you have to be prepping her to say, "Hey, this year is not like last year. It's totally different. So do this, do that when you come. Make sure you have this when you come on, so you can put it on and layer up and stuff like that. So yeah, but she liked it overall. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because we definitely want Moment to be here more often.
Definitely.
But you came as an international student, Shadane, right? Well, tell me a little bit about those experiences, especially the first time going in college. Like, how does it compare to college back in Jamaica, and what was your experience in general?
All right, so coming here as an international student, my first time in class.
Yeah.
Bro, I was the only black man there.
Yeah, come on.
Majority of my classes, I was the only person of color there.
And I'm gonna deviate. I'm gonna allow you to finish that. But how did you manage being the only black person in class?
I mean, all right. So at times it felt kind of weird, but not a lot of times, because most of the time it's not in my mind, because I worked in the hospitality industry back in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I was around white people a lot, and I made them laugh and feel comfortable and stuff like that. So I try not to look on skin color when I'm there, because everybody, we all stick together, talk to each other, and at the end of the day, you have to do group work and presentation, stuff like that together. So you can't say, oh, this person is white or this person is Indian, I'm not working with them. you have to focus on your
So,
schoolwork.
so
what you have to
essentially,
do.
the school actually teaches you that
Diversity,
inclusivity and diversity from that
yes.
level. So in the wider community, it's easier to
To
adapt
go
that.
out and yes,
Yeah.
100%.
But sorry to break in there. I'll allow you to complete the experience of the college in general, and how does it compare to college back in Jamaica?
All right. So yeah, so college here. Let me continue that. So college here versus back home. Coming here, I was sort of blown away with the whole. What I would say. What's that word? I'm trying to find a word, but never mind. All right, I was blown away with how the building was set up.
Oh,
and
the
stuff
aesthetics of the building.
Aesthetics,
Okay.
yes, that's the word. Aesthetics of the building and how modern it was versus when I went to college at my time back in Jamaica. It was just like pretty much a classroom setting type
Yeah.
of stuff. And at my college, it was a community college where we wore uniforms and stuff like that.
So now you're seeing everybody just wearing whatever
Casual,
they want to wear,
and some
and
persons come to class in their PJs and stuff like that. I'm like, yo,
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this.
so you're comfortable where that is concerned. Hey, at the end of the day, in Jamaica, the teachers, they will push you to do your work because they want what's best for you. Here, if you want to do your work, you do your work. If not, you're on your own. Yeah. So you're pretty much, they treat you like the adult that you should be or you're growing to be. They're teaching you responsibilities and stuff like that. And here, what I find is what they teach you in class, most or all of it is what goes on in the real world. Sometimes only thing that's missing is the hands-on part of it. So they teach you what you need to know for what's to come.
What's to come?
In the job world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's go to Grande Prairie again as a community, because after all, you're on LetsChat GP. We're talking about everything Grande Prairie related.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you would like to see changed in Grande Prairie? And what are some of the things you want to see remain the same?
What I love to see in Grande Prairie is some more apartments going up, bro. Yeah, apartments and some more food diversity. So some more food diversity and stuff like that. That should be number one for me.
Yeah.
As I said, more apartments and I'd love to see some more more international companies coming into the area, because GP, we have a lot of land space for businesses and stuff like that, but I guess everybody thinks different. They're gonna probably say, oh, they're probably not gonna make money, or it's too
Or the
country.
population is too small.
Population is too small, but even though the population is small, GP try to support. They try to support everybody.
And I think that's a very important thing to say as well, because the population of Grande Prairie is like roughly 70,000 people, which is not that horrible compared to other places. So definitely there's room for investments. It's a good opportunity for investments and stuff like that.
And even though they say it's 70-ish thousand, I feel like since I've been here, it has gone way past that. Because when I just came, back in 2022, by the time it catches like 7:38, outside would be a ghost town.
Facts.
Nowadays, 7:38, you have traffic on the road, but it's not a lot of traffic like Edmonton and Calgary and those places. But from where I came, and it's a lot of traffic. Yeah, and there's a whole lot more diversity. But then maybe every 1 in 5 persons was a black person.
Yeah.
Maybe. Now you're seeing more than that. I would say probably up to 2-3 thereabout. You're seeing a black person.
So a lot more diversity.
So it's a lot more diversity. Persons are actually leaving the bigger cities to come here now. Yeah. So yeah, it's quite an improvement.
The train is a big one. So if you guys don't know what Shadane is talking about, the train track runs straight through the middle of the city. So sometimes when the train is passing, everything comes to a standstill.
Yeah.
And sometimes you
It's
have the
always in the peak
really
hours.
long,
Long train.
long 100 and odd car train
Yep. You're
at
there for
peak
like
hours.
15, 20 minutes.
At peak hours of the day. And it's always when you're late for work or when you're in a rush to go to
Yep.
somewhere. So
And another major thing that I think GP can improve on and do more work on is the homelessness, man.
yeah.
That is, to me, I think it's a growing pain. Because when I just got here, it wasn't as much I know. And I'm seeing where they're going into communities that they've never been to before.
Yeah.
The West, normally they were around downtown area. Now they're spreading out. West side, east side, all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see people complaining about that a lot more.
Yeah, but I think homelessness is not necessarily unique to Grande Prairie. I think it's really a North American problem right now
True.
that is, as you rightfully said, drastically growing and seriously needs improvement.
Needs addressing, yeah.
Addressing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you have given us like a general feedback from your perspective of life in Grande Prairie as an immigrant. So we're gonna shift it a little bit. And we're gonna ask you some fun questions, right? We're gonna ask you some fun questions to find out a little bit more about Shadane. First question is, tell me something about yourself that people would be surprised to learn about.
I love to listen to pop music.
Another one. You mean like Taylor Swift, or more like Britney Spears?
I'm old school, so Britney Spears. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising.
Right,
Actually.
you know, like making my way down, those type of songs. Yeah, they have a little vibe, but I have to feel a certain way to listen to those type of music.
That's
So,
actually quite surprising. Actually,
Yeah.
very surprising. Now, other question: if you had the opportunity to spend a day with anyone, dead or alive, someone you consider probably a mentor, or not a mentor, like a role model, who would that person be, and why?
All right, a question. Dead or alive? I say, sorry. My uncle had passed. Reason being that man, he was a go-getter.
Yeah.
And he did a lot while he was alive. So just to learn some more from him and see his way of thinking.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older to understand a lot of stuff would make a whole lot of difference for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always, like, whenever I ask this question, I always hear a person saying some famous persons and stuff, but it's good to see the intimacy of that answer, right? So I asked you earlier about your Canadian meal, like, what's your favorite Canadian meal? But what I want to ask you now is, what area about being in Canada as an immigrant you love the most?
I love the traveling.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say traveling, not going on a plane and going anywhere. Like, just me and my family would just go on a drive. Like, the place is so big, you don't need to pack up suitcases and go on a plane to go anywhere. You just go sightseeing, go explore, because we love doing that. So pretty much we kind of know almost every area, if not every area, in and around GP.
Yeah.
So because of that, we keep going wider and wider,
Wider and
driving
wider.
further
Before
away
you know it,
from
you'll be
GP.
probably at the end of Yukon.
Yeah. So yeah, and going and seeing the different animals and in the springtime the different trees that pops up with the different colors and stuff like that is very fascinating, especially if you're seeing it for the first. So yeah, and get to experience that with your family. It's a once in a lifetime thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you miss most about Jamaica?
Food. The food.
Hands down.
Hands down the food.
Yeah.
Everything else comes after.
So if you could have that one Jamaican food here, like being accessible in Grande Prairie, that one food, that one thing, what would it be?
One thing that's always accessible:
Yeah, that one Jamaican dish. or
juicy
food.
beef patty or tasty patty. It, I would say a box food, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
The patty can be imported and get
Yeah.
that taste. So yeah, a patty.
Awesome. Now, somebody's watching this right now, Shadane, and they are probably an immigrant also, probably in the same position as you, like immigration status wise, or they're thinking of coming to Canada. What advice would you give them?
Go for it. Come and experience the different cultures and everything of Canada. Find your place where you can call your GP or your Grande Prairie. Not necessarily have to be Grande Prairie, but it's wherever you are comfortable, where you can set your roots to grow and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. And again, thank you so much for, spending a part of your day with us here.
Thank you
We
for
really
having me.
appreciate you having this chat with us. And just to piggyback on what Shadine just said, it's your reality. So you find where you are accepted. You find where, you are comfortable, even though I truly hope and wish that that is indeed Grande Prairie, because I am always an advocate for Grande Prairie, and this podcast we share everything about life in Grande Prairie, Alberta. So, on that note, we want to say thank you again, Shadine, for coming on, and thank you guys for watching. Until next time, keep talking GP.